Please welcome from your Washington Capitals. Please say hello to Mr. Dylan Strome. Dylan!
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I don't know what your off season was, but boy, you picked up Wednesday night where you left off last year. You were on fire Wednesday night.
Yeah, it was my first game in a long time, so just a little bit of the cobwebs out in the first period, but got a great pass from my good friend Trevor Van Riemsdyk and made no mistake on a breakaway. So it was nice to get back out there, nice to see the puck go in the net, and hopefully I can do that a bunch more times during the season.
Hey, let me ask you this: Did you have a good off season?
Yeah, I did. It was awesome. I mean, you obviously want to be playing longer than you did, but no, I enjoyed it a lot. I spent a lot of time with my family. I was back home in just outside Toronto in Oakville, Ontario, and lots of golf, lots of time with family. But for the most part, enjoyed it and happy to be back and happy to be playing hockey.
Hey, is it do you start getting itchy towards the like when camp's starting to roll around of like your body knows this system by now in this routine? Like, can you just start feeling yourself getting ramped up to get going again?
Yeah, I think once you start doing practices where the coaches are actually on the ice and you start doing some drills, you start getting back in the mix and remembering what it was like the previous years, and you're ready to go. I mean, there's definitely a buzz in the air in our dressing room, in our arena, and everyone's really excited. So it just makes it that much easier to come to the rink every day and put the skates on and get out there. So it's been fun so far, and I'm looking forward to playing tonight, and we'll see what happens here down the line.
Hey, much of a difference between now that we're into year 2 of Coach Carberry's camp, much of a difference between last year and this year?
I think it's a little there. I think you just everyone gets a little more comfortable with the more experience they get. I think he knows our team really well inside and out, and I think anytime that a coach feels comfortable and feels confident, it's really easy to kind of follow directions. I think it's he knows what it takes to get us to where we need to go, and we're gonna follow right in line. So it's been a pretty tough. There's a lot of skating, a lot of workouts, but I think everyone's ready. Everyone's excited to be back playing games, and we're looking forward to it.
Hey, Dylan, let me ask you this, kind of a two-part question, if you don't mind. Kind of leading up to, because training camp starts and you guys are playing like literally 2 or 3 days later. So there's not a ton of time in camp, and there's a lot of new faces, and we'll get to that in a moment. But like you'll hear the talk about like, oh, Carberry already knows he wants this line combination to skate together or this line combination to skate together. Like there was all the talk. It was going to be you. It was going to be Ovi. And then and then the question was, who was it going to be? And Mangiapane is who it ends up being. Are you guys able to decide in practice that quickly who's gelling with who? Like obviously you and Ovi, you know each other, but you got a brand new guy coming in.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what the preseason's for. I definitely think if things don't go well in the preseason games, then I don't think it's too hard to kind of switch up and try some new things. Line mates change so much throughout the season that you kind of, as a hockey player, you kind of got to be able to adapt to play with new players. Guys get injured, guys get traded. You're not winning, so the coach switches up the line. So I think, to answer your question, I think, obviously the coach has a long time in the offseason to decide what he thinks the lines are, what's going to work. So you throw that together for the first couple of days of camp and then a couple preseason games. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, there's lots more time to try some new combinations. But I don't think I've ever been on a team where a line has stayed the same the entire year. So,
sure.
I think everyone's looking forward to trying the combinations, and then if it doesn't work, you kind of just switch it up from there.
Because I had no idea what to expect when it was announced that Mangiapane would be with you guys, and unless you disagree, I thought he'd fit in great with you and Ovi.
I completely agree with you in both things you just said. I had no idea what to expect either. I've never played with him before on a line. I know him a little bit just from being around from the same area back home, and we had the same trainer in the summer, so a little bit of familiarity there. And but yeah, I thought it worked really well. I think he complements us really well. I think he's a really hard worker, and he finds ways to get pucks back and carry the puck through the neutral zone. I think all things that Ovi and I really enjoy playing with and really need from a line mate. So it's definitely been nice so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes in game 2 tonight.
So you got a bunch of new faces, and I give the Caps credit. I really like some of the guys that we went out and got. Pierre-Luc Dubois, I was very excited that we got him. Matt Roy is a stud. Jacob Chikrin, I was screaming that I wanted him here before he ended up in Ottawa. Did you have any history with any of those guys?
Yeah, lots. I actually played with Pierre-Luc on the World Junior team in 2016 or 2017, and we became friends there. So I've known him for a while throughout that, and also at the World Championships a couple of years later. So I've known him, for a bunch of years now. And I actually lived with Jacob Chikrin, funny enough, in Arizona when I was there. We lived together until I got traded, and we had a great time together. We were both rookies going into the league at the same time, so it was lots of fun to be his roommate, and we had some really fun times together. But I lots of guys, lots of familiarities, and I think it's good to always to have that, especially with new guys. So you get to know a lot of guys throughout the league, but when they come to your team, it's a nice little breath of fresh air.
And the other line that really impressed me, the going back to Wednesday night when you were playing, the Nick Dowd, Brandon Duhaime, and Taylor Radish line, that line was phenomenal.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it speaks to how good of a player and a leader Nick Dowd is. I think he's very underappreciated. Not by us by any means, because I know he knows how much he means to us, and we know that. And but I definitely think he's underappreciated throughout the league. I think people are really starting to see it. They already know, but people are really starting to see how much he means to our team. You can kind of put he's played with a bunch of different line mates, and it seems to be the one constant in our lineup of him playing really solid defensively. You never have to worry about where he is on the ice or if he's giving up chances. He's really steady. He's been doing it for a long time now, and it's great to have a guy like that on your team, kind of a guy that, any defensive zone draw, even if he's tired, he can go out there and do a job, and you love to have that.
And Radish, didn't you play? You played in Erie with him, right?
Yes, I've actually played with him almost my whole life. We were on this. He's a year younger than me, but we played in the same minor hockey organization for 7 years in a row, and then we played 3 years together in Erie. And his brother was also there too, so I played all 4 years with his brother. And then he got traded to Chicago. Funny enough, my last year there. So we've kind of followed each other, and now he's following me here too.
Hey, is it easier? I mean, listen, the Caps are your first team. You've had to walk into a locker room brand new. Is it easier? Like when he walks in, and you know him so well, does it make it easier being the new guy and you walk in and you're like, oh my God, there's my Erie Otters dude?
Yeah, I think 100%. As long as you know people, like when I first got to DC, I didn't know anyone besides the new guys that were coming to the team. Like I had known Kemper, and I knew Connor Brown, and I knew Eric Gustafson, all new guys that were coming to the Caps. And it just makes it that much easier. You don't have to really stress. You can kind of just, you have some familiar faces that you're okay with going to talk to, and going to dinner with your wives or friends. So things like that make it just a little bit easier of a transition. I think Radish has found that right away. And then you can find, obviously you're going to find new friends throughout the team. It just helps knowing someone that can kind of introduce you to people where you don't have that awkward stage of, should I go talk to this guy, blah, blah, blah. So definitely makes it easiar.
Was there somebody when you first got to DC and you walked in, was there somebody you were afraid to go talk to?
No, not afraid to go talk to, for sure. Knowing what I know now, I would have been a lot more open than I was, but it took me a couple weeks. But like I said, I knew a bunch of guys already, so that made it easier. But when you haven't met someone like Alex Ovechkin and he walks in the trainer's room and starts shaking everyone's hand and making everyone's laugh before I even got a chance to talk to him, I think I knew it was going to be a good fit from the beginning. So made it that much easier just knowing all these guys now. It made it so easy, just the way they act with new guys on the team. It's it's really, really nice to have.
By the way, mentioning the Erie Otters, you forget that Erie Otters team that you were on. Jesus Christ, was that team stacked?
Yeah, we had a lot of good players, a lot of NHL players. I played there for 4 years, and I think for over the 4 years, we have probably, I want to say, 20 guys that are playing in the NHL right now, which is a lot for a junior team. And I'm lucky enough to play with a couple, or have played with a couple. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had only CHL team in history to win 4 straight 50-win seasons, and in a league where you only play 68 games. I think that's a record that's going to stand for hopefully a long time. But we had a lot of fun there.
Was Connor McDavid kind of the dead weight on that team?
Whatever the exact opposite of dead weight is.
Hey, so let me ask you this. Like, I know, like, obviously there are team goals, right? And to a guy, everybody on the team will tell you it's team first, it's team first, it's team first. And I totally understand that. When you show up for camp, and whether it's with Carberry or the other coaches, do they set up specific goals for you for the season, Dylan?
No, not necessarily like individually. I think I know I've talked to Carberry a couple times throughout the summer, and we just talked about, being a bit more of a leader and being a guy that's, I think he really trusts me, which is a good thing. I don't think coaches too much like to do like individual stats wise with certain guys. I think you kind of just let the chips fall where they may. But I think it's always good to have a good communication with your coach, just to know that he trusts you and he wants you out there at the right times in the game. And I think as a player, that's kind of all you can really ask for.
Hey, last two things, and then I know you got to jump. Number one, I saw your brother Matt got I don't want to say sent down, but just went back to Hershey. Was it nice having him up for a little bit?
It was amazing. I mean, it's awesome. It's I don't get to see him, obviously too much during the season, even though we're in the same organization. He's still a couple hours away, so I don't get to see him too much. But when he's here at camp, he really has a great time. I really get to see, a different side of him that I don't get to see at home that often in the summers. All his teammates are laughing at everything he says. He's a pretty quiet guy at home, but when it comes to the season, the hockey team, he's a loud guy, and he likes to joke around with his teammates and have a lot of fun. So obviously I'm super proud of him, of what he's done in Hershey. And hopefully one day we're wearing a Capitals jersey together.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great. And then the other thing, Dylan, and I don't want to be a downer, but I'd be remiss if I didn't bring it up. We're playing the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. Do you have any, and listen, the news it was and continues to be as horrible as it can be. Did you have any history with Johnny Gaudreau or Matthew, for that matter?
Not too much. I've just met him a couple times in passing, and I didn't really know him too well, but even every time I'm on the ice, he always says, what's up, Stromer? And it's one of those things that, you don't wish upon, obviously you don't wish upon anyone, but I just think about, I think about his family. I think about, he's got a wife and 2 kids, and I think we all heard that he's got another one on the way.
Yeah, the third one on the way, sure.
I mean, you can't even put it into words. I think about my parents and what his parents are going through, and just how much, their whole lives have been revolved around, their 2 sons, and obviously they have two other daughters, but their 2 sons playing hockey, and how much their life revolves around, their grandkids and their, their in-laws and things like that. So it's absolutely heartbreaking. You kind of run out of words to say, because it's just something that you never want to experience. And I know, I hope everyone in Columbus is finding a way to cope with it in whatever way necessary. And I know, the NHL has a lot of good, programs that people can talk to and things like that. So, I'm hoping that they're all coping in an okay manner. And I know that, they know that we're all thinking about them at all times, and I know it's not going to go away for a long time. So
I did like what Tortorella did in Philly of having their dad come out and coach. I thought that was awesome.
I thought it was too. I mean, it's just a classy move. I think it's just, for his dad to get back on the ice, especially in Philly, I'm sure it meant a lot to him, and just, seeing some hockey players, seeing some guys, and I'm sure everyone was super nice to him, and just, I think it was a really, really great touch by Tortorella.
All right, so we get back at it tonight. Hey, by the way, so like you said, you're playing tonight. You and Ovi's line will be going tonight. Do you and Ovi have much say in how many games you want to play in preseason?
Ovi maybe a little more than I do. I'm just on his line right now, so I get kind of the benefits that Ovi gets in the preseason. So it's kind of nice. No, I think he usually plays between 2 and 4, usually 3. I think that's when you play 20 years, I think you know what it takes to get ready for the season. So 2 or 3 games, and he's ready to go, and I expect a great start to the season from him. Hey,
best of luck throughout the rest of preseason. I can't wait for the real games to get here, but they'll be here soon enough. Dylan Strome, I appreciate the time. Thank you, my friend.
No problem. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.